She had a cut behind their ear that when they triaged her, they missed.
I guess.
And a concussion injury.
Concussion. Well, it sounded like Son's concussion. She was vomiting and blacking out. So they kept her overnight. She also started complaining of some difficulty breathing, and she said that she had a fractured rib, and it was pushing on her lung, but didn't puncture the lung.
So Casey was staying in Tampa while Zanny was in the hospital?
Yes.
So she stayed from the 24th to the 25th?
She told me that on Wednesday, over here on the 24th, that the sister had come up, Zanny's sister.
She said her name?
No. I think her name's Stephanie or something like that.
So, but she arrives the 24th.
Yeah, with Zanny's mom. And Zanny's mom, from what Casey's told me over the last several months, has been, in and out of the hospital. Hasn't been real well.
Which hospital?
Never told me. Never really asked.
So we don't know if it was Miami or Jacksonville?
I would think it would be local, because she made it sound like she was local, that Zanny was checking on her periodically.
So it didn't take...
Like Zanny wasn't leaving the town to go see her.
So it wasn't like it took days and days for her to get to the hospital.
So what Casey said, that Zanny's sister and her mom had come up to the hospital that day. They thought she was going to be released, but when Zanny couldn't be released, her sister took her mom back home because she didn't bring her medicines and stuff, and her sister had other things that she had to do. So that's why Casey said that she came home to pick up Zanny's insurance information. And I thought that was kind of weird. I said, well, that stuff could be told over the phone or fax. And she says, well, the sister didn't know where to look at the apartment.
So Casey stayed from the 24th to the 25th.
But she comes back home to get the insurance paperwork?
Sorry,
Yuri, go ahead.
Casey said she drove home on the 25th to get Zanny's insurance paperwork at the apartment. Zanny told her exactly where to go. Casey, she had her key and everything, so she was able to get into the apartment. And I asked her, Zanny's apartment, I said, well, why can't Raquel or someone just call it in when they get back? And
do you know if that's the same apartment that she took me to?
I would assume wherever the Zanny person lives is where she was going to, but I have my suspicions.
Please share.
On that. Well, let's go with this before I take you off kilter here.
That's even better.
Let's finish this, and then I'll take you.
Yeah, okay.
Let me finish this.
You see already that I can jump around and get lost easily.
Yes, and I can jump around and get lost too. I don't want to do that. Train of thought.
Wait, let me finish this one then. She went to the apartment to get the insurance paperwork.
Right, and then she stopped home to grab something, and that's when George saw her.
At the house?
Yeah.
That was the 25th?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
I think it was the 25th.
Was it the same day the report was made to the sheriff's office?
It was later on that afternoon.
The 25th.
Because George and I had gotten back our, I think we got back that refund check, the stimulus check, and he and I both had to go to the bank, and he had told me earlier that day that he had made the report about the gas cans, and that him and I met up at the bank, and then for some reason he was going to go right from the bank to work, and he said he had to go back home for something, and Casey was at the house.
And to make a long story short with the gas cans, Casey had taken the gas cans earlier, he confronted her, she gave them back. When could she have taken the gas cans then if she had just come to the house?
I have no clue.
And she was in Tampa.
I don't know. But see, George had it, I don't know. I don't know. The last time he remembers seeing them, we were trying to figure out, was maybe mowing the grass somewhere. I don't know.
So Casey being in Tampa for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Well, first off, let me just clarify one thing. The report actually said the 24th, so we're off on a day here right now. But that being said, the 4 days...
Well, it was either one of the days, yeah.
So she's in Tampa. How could she get the gas cans?
One of the days she said she came home to pick up the gas cans. After George saw them in the car, she had come to get the gas cans. Whatever day she got the gas cans was the day she was coming to pick up Zanny's insurance information. And she came back to the apartment to pick up the insurance information while she was in town.
So we're not really sure on the dates.
Well, whichever day George made the report.
Right.
That was the day.
What I'm saying, we're not really sure on the dates of Tampa and the accident.
Well, no, it was the same week. I'm sure that George made the report this week.
Right, he made it on the 24th.
Okay, if that's the day, then that's the day she said she came home and got the gas cans. But she told me at one point during that time that she had come home to get Zanny's insurance information.
And then she stopped by your house to get what?
She said, well, she was going to pick up some clothes. And there was a few of her clothes missing.
Okay. What about the clothes that she took for her trip when she left on the 16th? How much? You said initially to me back that night that she didn't take anything except for a regular diaper bag and no other baby clothes.
That I saw. Now, again, if George and I are at work, I don't know if she had access to the house during the day. She could have come in at any point and gone into the house. You know, they weren't Tampa here, so at any point she could have.
Didn't you tell me you had asked her about baby clothes and she told you she bought all new clothes?
Yes, for Kaylee.
Right.
Right.
For this trip?
She said, no. I said that Zanny keeps clothes. She said there's always clothes for Kaylee at the babysitters. There's always extra clothes. But then she said on the weekend that they did go shopping. And Zanny took her shopping and bought more clothes.
I remember that's one of the things you were worried about because you asked her.
Right, I know. But
why didn't she take her clothes? And she told you, well, we don't need the clothes. I bought her all new clothes. Because I remember you told me that night.
Right, on the 21st they bought clothes. But she told me, because I started asking her about Kaylee's clothes here, she says, Mom, Zanny always has extra outfits and clothes and shoes and things like that at her house.
Okay. Well, let's get back to the week then. We're a little bit off on the days.
This is the first interview that I've ever done with who I'm interviewing standing behind me.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to get used to the feeling.
I'm trying to look at the dates because it's sitting over there. I can't see the calendar.
Okay, I'm just.
Do you want me to sit?
Yeah.
I don't want to intimidate you.
No, you're not intimidating me. I'm just getting used to a new feeling. It's like a new pair of pants. It takes a while to get used to.
I'm going to put this up here only because I don't want you to walk out without it.
Oh, believe me, I won't walk out without my purse. Women don't leave their purses in their cars or other places.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Not usually. Bottom line is, one of these days, I always thought it was a Wednesday, but whatever day he filed the report. Mm-hmm. But I thought the 24th was a Wednesday too, so anyway. It ended up being this is the day that they were coming back from Tampa.
This day here.
The 27th. I remember that because I got a phone call from Casey in the afternoon. They were going straight back to work. Juliet and her needed to check in because they had been off all week. They had been communicating with Tom Frank, her boss at the event coordinating place, and later that I thought for sure when I get home that they were going to be home. But I found out later, she said that Jeff was in town. He was at Hard Rock Hotel.
Jeff's in town.
Jeff's in town.
Last name?
Hopkins.
Jeff Hopkins.
Mm-hmm. The one that introduced her to Zanny.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see him or meet him that weekend at all?
No.
You just know he was in town because of what Casey said?
She said, yes.
Okay.
And she told me Jeff was in town from the 28th until the 30th. And Casey was excited to see him because they hadn't seen each other since December, somewhere around there, December the 1st of the year, when he went to Jacksonville. And Jeff's the one that has Zachary.
Forgive me,
You're forgiven.
Jeff, 2.5 years ago, Kate, right about just before Jesse, I'm going to tell you how Casey introduced Jeff into our life as a person. Casey was still working at Color Vision or Kodak, and I can't remember when the switch went from one company to the other.
The hostile takeover?
Yeah, it wasn't hostile, but I mean, that really did happen because I remember I spoke to her bosses then. I mean, I talked to her bosses then. But anyway, Jeff was one of the IT guys, and I remember Jesse, she said Jesse was jealous. And Jesse told me he remembers her talking about some person.
Jesse was jealous? Or?
Jesse was jealous. They were still engaged then when she first met Jeff.
Uh-huh.
And Casey and Jeff were friends. Jeff had a child, a son that was almost a year older than Kaylee. And he was dating this person, Zanny, at the time. And the same Jeff. Okay? Jeff introduced.
There's so many names in my head right now.
I know. I can imagine. Jeff